All right, and welcome to all of you in the Rabyd Nation. Welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to all of you. I also have to give a shout out to a couple of people. Right before I start, I have to welcome Fred Harvey as our one and only senator. Fred can literally say right now that he is the Senate. I also have one counsel. Jova Shade became a counsel 3 days ago. So thanks, Jova. But yes, we finally have some upper echelon members in Jova Shade and Fred Harvey. So thank you very much. So there's that. But yes, but thank you very much. The senator council levels come with a single benefit, which is to suggest a video topic. In the case of senators, every 90 days or so, you can suggest a video topic, and I will work on it, make sure it gets done before the 90 days is up. And the council level gives you the ability to suggest a topic once every month. So, and then I try to, by that date, the next month, I try to have that done too. And being that I'm getting back into video creation, this might be, yes, council's above senator. The Roman Senate is my basis for all this. So that's why, I have a bunch of tribunes, which have moderator powers. All that stuff comes with moderator power too. Once you get past the tribune level, it's automatic. You're paying money on my channel, so I figure you should have some say in how it's conducted and what the atmosphere is. And a lot of you have taken that to heart with very good stuff. So yes. Yeah, Questor. Yeah, Questor is another one I thought about. But yes, I did a Roman, we have citizens, we have rabid citizens, then we have our tribunes, which at that level you get moderator powers, provided you don't abuse them. I, of course, remain the benevolent dictator for life. So I am Julius Caesar without the daggers in my body yet. So there you go. But welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. Nonetheless, welcome to all of you in the Rabyd Nation. If you want to become a tourist, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you become a tourist in the Rabyd Nation. But citizenship has to be bought. I'm like every other nation where your citizenship has to be bought. I'm just more honest about it. So there you go. But yes, today is the Fireside Chat. This is us hanging out and just talking about whatever. I don't have any restrictions on topics or anything like that. I will do my best. The only thing I say is please don't preach to me. I was a preacher for 20 years. If you're a theist and you want to preach to me, understand I've already preached all the messages and I preach to myself. Don't quote the Bible at me because I already know that book pretty well. And obviously I'm an atheist still besides it. So there you go. So there you have it. So you're that. There you go. But yes, so there we go. Actually, some things that have happened in the channel that are kind of newsworthy. So I need to pull up one of my own posts. Yes. In the last 30 days, membership is actually up 31 people. So I have 31 more members. I know for a fact that 10 of those are gifted. The other 21 are people just joining and supporting the channel. And I want to give a shout out to all of them. Thank you very much. But yes, the channel, I think it's the Apologia effect. We passed 5.6K in the last month as well. So, and that's been kind of sitting there. So we're actually seeing some growth in subscribers too. So hopefully that Apologia effect has kind of had a little positive effect on me. So that's good. Very, very good. Oh my goodness. Senator Fred, I may have created a problem. But let's get a roll call. Fred, of course, is here, newly appointed senator by his own hand, by paying money, by bribing the officials. There you go. Earl is here early, not fashionably late. Had a lazy day. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Rimmer is here. Anne Marie is here. I thought I saw Wolf. I saw the mighty Philbert. Anybody else? That's, oh, and Chris XT Boy. Okay, there you go. Welcome. All right. Let's see. Other than that, what has been happening in the world of atheism, deconversion? What have I seen? I know that Rationality Rules just dropped a new video. I haven't had a chance to watch it, so I'm gonna probably do that at work. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. I guess I have to address that issue because I've had people say, "Wow, your streams are really long," and you have 3 parts to cover Apologia, and it's like, well, if Apologia hadn't done an hour and 10-minute video, my streams wouldn't have to be so long. You know, it's like it's gotten interesting in the world of YouTube how many content creators that are well established are like doing these really super long, hour-long videos. And I think it's the podcast mentality. Like you can watch those videos as a podcast. So I don't know what else to say other than I'm trying to get multiple different types of links for those of you that have attention problems. I'm working on that, getting a couple intros done and taking the good parts out of the stream. I actually want to go back through all my streams. There's some like I remember the episode where I asked all of you types that would be interested in a date with Jesus what the red flags would be, and I thought that was super hilarious. I think I laughed about that for 2 weeks, and I think I may go back and find that episode and cut that stuff out and put it in a video once I get all this other stuff done. But yes, it's an honest bribe. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Ron does his blasphemer Bibles. I noticed that like Apologia has he doesn't seem to have a length restriction like before. Apologia used to like not ever go over 30 minutes. Like he was just like, you know, he did that. So yeah, it was a good stream. And I think if I can find it, Earl, I think it was a reaction to one of those, I can't remember. I think the channel was, what would you say? I think is what the channel name was. And we got to the end of the video and there's this like really hunky Jesus, you know, with abs and stuff. And, and I asked the crowd, as I recall, what are the red flags of dating Jesus? and so I and the chat, oh my goodness, you guys were just beautiful at that moment. So there's that. But yes, yeah, it was on fire that night. It definitely was. It was just fire. And it wasn't just the ladies too. It was like all the gay men in the chat were like, "Oh, we could comment on this too. All right, go ahead." and you know, it was just fire that night. It was just hilarious. And I may do that video, the red flags of Jesus as defined by my chat. I don't know. My whole issue these days is what tone do I want to set here at the Rabyd Atheist? And I've been asked why I don't appear on certain shows or encouraged to appear on certain shows over the last months. And part of the reason I don't is I'm not sure that some of these shows are actually helpful to the discussion. And I'm not really sure they're helpful for atheism. Like when you engage, you spend a large time in your show trying to belittle the theist, because I don't really try to belittle theists here. I'll tell them that what they believe is nonsense and I'll do all that stuff. But as human beings, I recognize, because I used to be there, I recognize what it's like to be entrapped by indoctrination. And so people don't always see what you're saying. Okay. And being sensitive to that, I think, is a far better way to go. I guess my thoughts are to just, you know, keep doing what I do and be myself. And I don't know, I've toyed with the idea of once a month having like an open stream where people can come in, but then I have like very strict limitations on that. Like I get nervous once there's 5 or more people in a room and my anxiety levels start to go up. And then at a certain point I have to dip out unless it's a group of people I'm comfortable with. Like, whenever I have streamed with like Earl or Asho, I've never felt nervous around them. So they actually kind of relax me and calm me down because they're friends. I like to stream with friends. So if I do that, so not necessarily with opponents. Hey, Dave, hope you're doing well. Hope the doctors have figured out what's wrong with you. So yes, yes. So we have that. Yes, woosah. Yeah, there are certain people that I'm very comfortable streaming with, and Earl's one of them, and Asho's another. Uh, I don't know. My autistic self rebels at the idea of bringing people in that I don't know. So, and the funny thing is, I'm actually pretty good dealing with theists. When I talk to them, I like talk them down and get them to have a reasonable discussion. Earl said that that's my superpower, but I literally spend the next 2 days like decompressing from all of that. So it's like, so, and I just I don't necessarily like to do that in general. So, okay, good. Glad to hear it, Dave. The world would be a lesser place without your sexy voice. So, and we want to keep that alive as long as possible. But yes, I agree with you. I've heard you talk about this several times. Like it's the Grim Reaper is always standing by somewhere. It's like, yeah, as how it tends to attract theists. So whenever I'm on his show, yeah, it happens. But yes, Dave, I'm absolutely understanding where you're facing. Like you're going along, living life, and the next thing you know, there's this guy or gal, because some cultures have the Grim Reaper being a female, but kind of staring at you through empty sockets and skeletal features. So yes, but yeah, it's so. I'm very well aware that there's probably something lurking in my future, and so yes, so we all live with that. And people ask, like the biggest thing I got asked, like I was in a car accident once. Not a car. No, I had my gastral issue, and I ended up in the hospital for a few days. And one of my former Bible college classmates asked me if did that make me see reason to see that I needed to turn back to God, and it was like, no, because if God has to threaten me with death to get me back to loving Him, He's kind of an abusive prick. So yeah, it's like yeah, we talked about lucid dreams. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've had requests like that. Like Decibel 19 asked me, would he be interested in having me on? As a general rule, I have a problem. It's not so much a problem with anybody who wants to do that with me. It's more my issues with, like, I can handle a good one-on-one conversation or maybe two-on-one. After that, it gets a little bit difficult. And I like to have, people like Earl and Asho in the room as support. Like Asho, if you want a Bible verse researched in 3 seconds, like you're looking for something, he'll give it to me in 3 seconds. He's very good at that, and he's been very invaluable. A couple discussions like that, and then Earl, Earl, I'm just very comfortable with. I remember when way back in our Kentucky Atheist days, when we first appeared on that for an autism stream, I remember I felt very comfortable with Earl almost immediately. She wasn't she wasn't anxiety inducing for me as a person. So, which is strange because according to her, everybody should have anxiety around her, but I just don't feel that way around her. So there's a few people in my life like that. I don't feel that way around like my family either. So except when they want to talk religion, then I get anxious because my mother and my daughter and my son-in-law are very much believers. My oldest child was an atheist, but now has become a believer, and so that topic in my family is a little bit touchy, and when they feel at liberty to bring it up, and I just don't. So, so there's that. Yeah, we're friends. Like I'm friends with the Grim Reaper. I don't look at I don't look at death with a lot of fear anymore. It's the process of dying that bothers me, but and what form that's going to take. But death itself just doesn't. Why should you be afraid of something that's inevitable and all that? Hey, Joshua, good to see you. Yeah, it can get chaotic too if you have too many people in a stream. Like everybody's trying to talk over each other. I think there's a logical reason, like why most talk shows, if they do a panel discussion, it's like three people. Like they don't go beyond that, maybe four. Um, and the host often interviews each person individually on the topic too. I think there's some wisdom there. I don't think they do that by accident, is what I'm saying, because otherwise you would get that chaos. So, yeah, I got shit to do. I hear you there too. It's like I ain't got time to die right now. Who's got time? I got shit to do. So there's that. Fear the Rain Blue. One of my favorite songs. I actually like of Blue Oyster Cult's song though. I like Godzilla the best. I'm sorry, the guitar work in Godzilla is just brilliant. So brilliant stuff. That guy can play. Oh my god. Yeah, even as one felt like I've always wanted my real one is useless. Aw, Earl, you're gonna make me tear up, maybe. But yes, yeah. So I have my little sister in Earl, so she's all right. But yes, I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I tend to adopt people. So as my brothers and sisters, so I have my adopted brother that's been my friend since I was 4. So, and it's really interesting. Like when we were younger in teenage years, he was the liberal and I was the conservative Christian, and now it's flipped. So it's kind of weird how that works. So, oh, good noise anyway. Yes, yes. I Not enough cowbell. Yes, Godzilla. Oh man, what a great song. Man, the guitar work in the back. Oh, that guy could play. Okay, he knew how to play. And you get the feeling that when he was playing, he was just playing what was coming just right out of him. Like it wasn't, it feels so natural what he's playing and how he's playing. And when you see him live, it's the same. It's like he's letting the music flow out of his fingertips and into that guitar. And, it sounds great. So, your born again big sister is the reason you took an interest in religion. Oh, okay. Like you're this happy-go-lucky atheist just going along, living your life, and then one of your family members becomes a born again Christian, and now it's shoved into your life. That's kind of how I feel sometimes. Like, I go every Friday, pretty much. I have breakfast with my daughter and my mother and like 5 of my grandkids, soon to be 6. Um, she reminded me that it's October now, so my daughter could give birth to my latest grandchild very shortly, anytime now. So she's due in like early November, so anytime. So yes, but every time I go to that, every once in a while, my mother can't help herself, and she has to bring up the church that I was kicked out of. I don't think she realizes my mother is my mom and I love her to death, but I don't think sometimes she realizes the PTSD she puts me through. So it's like, because she'll like, yeah, she just does that to me. So yes. The 70s. Yes, that was a pretty good solo too. Yes. Oh no, there goes Tokyo. And, oh, we got a lot of good nice. Yes. Anytime now. Yes. Oh, did you hear that the guy that made the prophecy back for September 23rd apologized, but then he set another date? It's like, sometime in October. I can't remember when. But yes, they said they were wrong. They were off a little bit, so they're going to reset the date to another date. And it's funny how these people double down, isn't it? You totally screw it up, and then you double down with another date. And this is actually so common. I think we talked about this, Saturday with cognitive dissonance. Like these people that make these, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the next rapture day. Okay. Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. So October 7th or 8th or somewhere in there. The Rapture 2.0 was supposed to be today. I thought it was, yeah, I'm getting mixed signals. You heard October 7th. Okay. So it's October 6th here right now. Is anybody in October 7th yet? Fred, are you in October 7th yet? Isn't Australia in October 7th right now? Is Jesus there? Inquiring minds want to know. I am October 7th. Fred too. Okay, so you guys are in October 7th. Has Jesus arrived yet? I'm just wondering. I gonna make rapture tacos tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I wish some of these would take my bet. Bet me $1,000 or bet me that you're going to drop $100 in a super thanks on one of my videos that the rapture prediction is going to be accurate. And I'll say it's not going to be. And if you lose, you have to give me a super chat. And nobody ever has taken me on that. So, but yes, 2.0 was supposed to be today. Okay. I'm just saying, the 8th would have been my 14th wedding. Oh, hoping for an. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. The jokes are just coming to my brain. I'll probably keep those to myself. Maybe you want a rapture to avoid the memories. So there's that. Oh my goodness. Hey, Touch Tips. How you doing? I find it hard to listen to religious people talk about God. It often seems like more. Yes, it is. You want to get a fight with a theist, say that their religion has made them egotistical, like that they have all the answers to morality, that they have something that somebody else doesn't, that they're claiming to be special because, they're a king's kid if they're a Christian or whatever. And it usually will lead to a fight. Which is why I don't do it often, but I have made videos in the past about that, about how religion makes you, how shall I say it, self-righteous as a person in general, as a human person. And it doesn't matter what religion it is. I've even had that conversation with Buddhists who are fairly peaceful, but it's like, you're claiming to know something that makes you a better person than me, okay, simply because you claim to know this stuff. And so it's all set up for moral posturing. Yeah, you're very, very right. Like I get it, but I used to be a very religious person. So I guess I've gotten used to it, that kind of language. And so I can listen and I try to be patient, but it doesn't always work. So there's that aspect of it. Oh, he was supposed to be using the Julian calendar instead of the Roman calendar. You do realize that both of those calendars are kind of irrelevant. Shouldn't we be using the Jewish calendar, saying it's a prophecy? I don't know. They have nothing to win. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I can offer them, I'll get on my channel the next day and say they were right while they're up in heaven dancing a jig. I mean, okay, I'll sit here. I mean, the fact that some of these fundamentalist Christians would be off the planet might make the world a better place, but I don't know. I don't like to talk that way, but sometimes it gets nuts around here, especially in the United States. Yeah. Here, I'll help you out here, Triple E. There we go. Seeing it doesn't show up here on StreamYard, there it is. Just to be safe, I'm not wearing pants. I'm not up for a rapture wedgie. Okay, there you go. Rising off the ground, can barely reach the keyboard, but this is ridiculous. I am an atheist. Oh, you already raptured him to the swamp with gators, allegedly. Okay, there we go. Allegedly. So, yes, I'm sorry to I'm sorry to make you grumpy, Earl. It's just it struck me funny. Like I don't know. I mean, I've seen too many memes on Facebook, where you have a lady and Jesus in bed, and the lady's kind of turned over, facing the camera, looking a little disappointing, and the caption reads, "Second coming. I'm still waiting for the first." Yeah, and so I didn't make you grumpy. Oh, that's good. That's good. You're just grumpy about the situation. I don't like to make people grumpy, but yeah, but yes. So and I've kind of run with that with our book, Earl. Like Yahweh isn't very good at making women happy, so which is pretty much backed up by the Bible too. So, so yeah, 13 days per. Okay, not just this year. Gotcha. Holier than thou. Yes. Bertha better than you. One of my favorites. Hey, yes, Fangs. Hey, Tilting Millennial. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah. You have to, touch your kind of like new here. Understand that the chat around here gets derailed. They try to derail me, but today is a day designed as, because it's a fireside chat, it's just designed to be derailed. So I'll go whatever way the discussion chat goes. But yes, I since leaving the faith and since leaving the ministry, I have allowed certain parts of my personality to come out, and one of them is I remember somebody called me a dirty old man, and I said, "Yeah, I'm not sure I'm quite there yet, but I'm working on it." So, but yes, Russia touring, so there's a God. I don't think that has anything to do with God. I think it just has a lot to do with Rush. And how can it be Rush? There's only two of them left out of the three. One of them's gone. So how do you replace the one that's gone? Pert. How do you replace a drummer like that? I don't know how you do that. So I feel you there, Earl. Let's see. Uh, I didn't make a big fanfare of this when it happened on September 21st, but it's the fourth year since I've been divorced. That's my fourth anniversary of divorce, was September 21st last month. And the first year that kind of hit me like a freight train. It was really hard. The second year, I didn't even notice. I completely forgot it. The last 2 years, I've kind of noticed the divorce, but it makes me a little bit sad, but I kind of, go grab a Coke and something to eat and get over it. so yes, but yes, apparently so. Without fangs, though. It's fangs without fangs. Yes. The thing about fangs is, let's see. Yeah, this one actually has his fangs. I like this version of fangs. He's very cute in this one. But yes, and then I queued a couple of more up tilting windows. Here's one that we did for Azho's birthday. So we have Fangs wearing rainbow afro and sunglasses. And then when Pelagia was hanging around, that inspired Earl to do Chewbacca fangs. So he has fangs too. So there's that. But yes, this is now my favorite version of the unholy trinity of me, Earl, and fangs. So yeah, it's evolution. Okay. Yeah, it's 2/3 Rush. Like, I'm sorry. I used to listen to Rush because all of them are music nerds. Like, they know music so well that it's ridiculous. And one of the best was Pert. Like, when you listen to Pert drum, he's adding so much shit in there and it sounds good. I don't know how you replace that. Like, good drummers are hard to find. They really are. And he was definitely top 3 of all time. So, if not number 1, I'm not sure. I would have to hear somebody else. Yes, aren't they great? Earl needs head pats. Give Earl head pats for her artwork because it inspires her. But yes, the Wookiee belt. Yeah, but just putting a Wookiee belt on Fangs is for Fang's sake. Just did the job and didn't overdo it. And you got me being the Night Elf Han Solo version. So we put the Millennium Falcon in the background, and we borrowed it. We didn't steal it. We borrowed it for a little while. So, but yes, I love this one. And then, of course, Earl has to do double duty as Princess Leia and C-3PO because we needed 2 characters in one, and it makes perfect sense if you just use a little theology. So, a German female drummer? Oh, that might be interesting. I mean, she's got to be able to play what Pert played, and that would amaze me in and of itself. So. Anyone can tour with a missing memory? Yeah, I mean, I know they can. Do they get the same level of crowds and excitement? I don't think so. But yeah. I mean, not with Queen, though, you have another good singer, though most people don't recognize the drummer for that band. He can sing. Like, you hear that in their live concerts. Like, he and Freddie go back and forth sometimes in some of the live stuff. So I'm in chapter 3 of the book. I am writing the story of Adam and Eve right now from Fangs' perspective. The entire book is from Fangs' perspective. Like, Fangs is the one talking through the whole thing, and he's setting the record straight about a lot of things. And I got into chapter 3. Earl is currently looking at chapter 2, which is what we're doing right now. Is I'm just trying to get this thing finished, the first rough draft finished, with me writing the main, and then Earl adding her lovely color to it. And once we get that done, we're going to probably edit the shit out of it for months. So, but yes, I'm trying to get the main part done. And I'm in chapter 3 writing Adam and Eve's story and going over the part. I've gotten about halfway done. I've started that. I can tell you that the first part is about how Yahweh has a voyeurism problem. So I always bring this up to theists every once in a while when they talk about sex, and you got to have God in the corner watching. So yes, you're late. Never late. I'm going to be on for at least another 45 minutes. The apocalypse. You're fine. Oh. Yeah, if you haven't heard of Rush, some of your favorite bands have. Yes, they have. Yeah, I know. I Blossom, I feel you. Like, who can do that? But I think a lot of people miss Rush's live music. I don't know. Neil Peart, though. Yeah, he was probably the greatest of all time as a drummer. Like, that man could drum. Okay, if she's good and she can do what Peart does, then it might be worth it. I can see being a drummer and wanting that position just to be a tribute to Peart, and I'm not going to begrudge them doing a tour with somebody that could do the job. So, but yeah, yeah, I know it happens around here, boss. Yeah, it's Journey without Steve Perry. It's good, but yeah, the moment is lost. It's sad. Well, they kind of have to do that. You realize that musicians don't make any money off of record sales anymore, like they used to. Like in the '60s, like when records, came out in like '40s, '50s, earlier than that. That's how you made money in music. With music basically being air now, and being able to be pirated, they have to tour to make money. If you don't tour, you go broke as a musician. Like it has gotten that bad. Like I've done some studies on this. They don't make any money unless they tour. So unless they give the experience to you, that's why ticket prices have jumped so much too. So so yeah, we did put that in the book, didn't we? That's in chapter 2 somewhere. Yes, Asherah is Yahweh's bride who divorces him within one chapter. Like she has enough of his shit. so so yes, but our book is coming along famously. It's going to be very irreverent to pretty much every religion, particularly probably Christianity and Judaism and Islam. But okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it being finished. Me and Earl both have the same happy moment, I think, is when we're holding that thing in published form in our hands. Like that's what we're aiming for. And so trying to get that book to that level where some publisher will take a look at it. But I got to get, like, I think I planned out 21 chapters and 3 appendices, because the 3 appendices are Church of Fang stuff. So like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't broached this with Earl, but I think we're going to have to rewrite the Fang Damnits, which is not unusual for a religion to do. I mean, the 10 Commandments have been rewritten several times. So, uh, and so it's not unusual. And so we're going to have to rewrite some of the Fang Damnits to fit a more general audience, not just a YouTube audience here. So, but we'll get about that. We're going to have a good time with that, I'm sure. Yes. I've seen a couple bands do a 3-hour shows, but yeah. Following door like it's Nirvana's Hall of Fame induction and multiple vocals, which was fine-ish. I don't think Rush needs the money either. There comes a point where a lot of these people. I have not wrote one for publication before, and we're doing something very different in the fact that we're doing a very irreverent kind of book towards religion with Fangs as the main character, as our deity, basically doing a lot of absurdum. Like we're showing how ridiculous certain religious beliefs are by being absurd. We're also like injecting a little reality that makes religion look absurd. And then Earl is illustrating it. So it's going to kind of be like an adult book with a children's book, illustrated book style. So, and originally I was writing it and she was just illustrating it, but then I gave her the first chapter and she changed it. But then I read her changes and I'm like, oh, this makes it so better. We're going to co-write this. So, and so that's where we've been going. But I've written a novel before and finished it. I just never published it. I participated in National Novel Writing Month like 10 years out of the last 20 I've known about it, where I just sit down in November and just write a novel. So the writing part doesn't bother me, Skeptic. It's the publication part that bothers me, because I would love for this to be mainstream published, because I don't know for a first book that will happen, but it's like I'm very hopeful, because we're taking a very irreverent look at religion, but we're throwing like nuggets of reality in there. Like Fangs breaks the fourth wall every once in a while, where he says, yeah, you need to be reminded that I'm a made up character in this book created by my authors and I don't really exist. Yeah. So things like that. So, but that's kind of, it's an interesting chemistry. I remember when Earl sent me that first chapter back with her additions, I was like, okay, I'm pretty protective of my writing. But then I read it, I'm like, holy shit, this is so much better. We're gonna write this together. So it's kind of a co-writing thing, and it seems to be working out so far. We're kind of early on in it, so I'm making no promises. So yeah, I remember you wrote those in like 30 minutes. So yeah, we got to redo the Fang Dammits when we get there. When I get to Moses on Mount Sinai, that story, yeah, we're gonna probably have to rewrite it for that. So we got time to think about that one. I am a horrible procrastinator, Blossom, and I have to treat it like a job. It's one of the things. This book my son recommended me. It's written by a Christian, a theist, but the first 2 points of his three are really good. Like we procrastination is more of a symptom than anything else, and what you really need to do if you want to be a writer, the guy says you have to treat it like a job, whether you're getting paid for it or not. And once you start realizing that there's going to be some days that you don't feel like writing and you just write to do it, and then you may erase everything you write, he says that's okay. It's absolutely okay. So yeah, you gotta. Yeah, and that's kind of why people like to mainstream publish, because here's the thing about mainstream publishers. You may not make as much percentage of the income, but they have a distribution network all set up already. Like they have a system to get your book out there in front of more people. Okay. And that's what you're paying for. Okay. It's do you want to have your book read by a lot of people? You probably need to get it published mainstream. Like self-publishing works if you can't find one and you still have enough interest, you think, to make it, and then you got to promote it. But publishing companies have that promotion element built in, and that's kind of why people still want to go that. Yeah. Early on. Yes, yes, we got it. The thing with Earl's name is I can do the early on pun. So early on. Twinkling Fangs disclaimer in your book for all the flat earthers and conspiracy theorists. Yeah, I'm already thinking about how to write the introduction to the book, as whether it should be a disclaimer or some sort of reality check for theists. Like somebody brought up, what if they find your book 1,000 years from now and they create the cult of fangs? I'm like, well, first of all, I'd be flattered that they think it's that good. But yeah, it's I don't know. Fangs breaks the fourth wall a little bit, where he comes out and tells the reader that he's a fantasy character and he's not real, and you know, and kind of reminds the reader about what this is all about from time to time. And we're me and Earl together are a dangerous combo when it comes to off-color humor. So I don't know. It's definitely going to be like, if you're a dirty-minded individual, this book will be for you. So it will definitely inspire that. Especially considering where we are with Adam and Eve right now. Adam and Eve walking around naked, and there's just too many jokes to be made at that point about Yahweh. So Yahweh the voyeur. So he was an early girl stream today. Oh, although I did nothing useful, but I get it. I get it, but yeah, it's like I've kind of taken the viewpoint that Ed's got to spend about 20 hours a week either working on YouTube or working on writing. And so I blocked out some time to do that. And that time is for that. And it's good. So, and then I make sure my weekends, by doing that during the week, I make sure my weekends are free to just relax. And that seems to be helping my anxiety and depression quite a bit, is learning to relax. So you gotta figure that stuff out. Like you gotta figure out where you're going to work and what you're going to do. And and be disciplined about it. Discipline is the absolute enemy of procrastination. So it's hard though. Spandex jumpsuits. Okay. Sometimes you have to know when to bow out gracefully and let your music live on. Don't want to see a 70-year-old guy trying to fit spandex singing about There's some truth to that. But yes. Well, there are many days at the actual job where it feels like I did nothing. I get that. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I work at the world's largest brick and mortar, and I realize how much of a small cog in that machine I am. It's just a machine. It's just a huge machine. So there's that. I do working out, building up a little by little to that end. I force myself to write every Wednesday and see where it goes from there. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I started out writing. I think you start any new endeavor with a lot of excitement and you have a lot of energy. And at some point, the energy starts to dip. And you got to figure out how to refill the gas tank, so to speak. You got to fill it back up or recharge your batteries, whatever way you want to look at it. Creativeness is I don't want to get mystical about it. This isn't mystical, but it's like there's something psychological when I first start a project that I'm very excited about. I have a lot of energy and I get a massive amount of crap done. And then that starts to dip. And so my entire life has been trying to figure out how to recharge the batteries on that. So it doesn't necessarily stay fresh, new, exciting, but I have some energy to keep doing it. And maybe it's not as much as I did when I first started, but at least I'm continuing to go on and on. So yes, but it's not, and I'm not, me personally, I'm not just working on this project writing either. I'm doing other things because I have to take a break from fangs every once in a while. Because there's something about doing a cult that reminds me too much of my old job as a pastor. And there are moments it's like I'm having a good time and I'm having fun, but it's like, I got to go do something else. And I've got a novel in the works that I'm actually spending a lot of time with. And I'm getting back to rewriting my deconversion story. I feel like I've been deconverted long enough because I quit doing it because I didn't feel like I had enough experience outside of the faith yet to make some good observations. And so now it'll be 10 years next year, I believe, or is it? See, it's 10 years I haven't been a Christian anymore. It'll be 10 years next year that I'll be an atheist for 10 years. So yes. So yeah, it's like it's kind of a thing that I'm doing, and I'm working on that as well. But I'm also getting ready to start blogging my stories again, my serials. I got a nice one, a nice fantasy series that I've got in my brain. So yeah. Yeah, the chat is too skeptical to drink the Kool-Aid. I get it. You guys are pretty good at that. Amazing shit. When compared to my first draft, is a huge gap. It always takes a lot to remind myself of a lot of the hard work in the novels I love instead of here it is. Yes. Writing is a process. I had somebody way back when I was younger explain this to me, and it's kind of stuck with me. It says there's no such thing as good writing. There's only good rewriting. And when you understand that, you realize your first draft is just that. It's a first draft, and it's an ugly child, but it's alive. And you got to figure out how to make it beautiful and, all the rest of that stuff. So, yes. When the mood strikes, sometimes it strikes weeks, or like recently, I'm kind of overdosed. Yeah, and that's, I think I'm kind of weird in that regard, Earl, that I kind of respect that. Like, if you're not feeling it, I don't want you doing anything. Like, go rest, go do something else. I don't know. avoid people, something, you know. But yes, when Earl's on and in her groove, she comes up with a lot of good stuff. And a lot of times she comes here for your inspiration. So all you need is love. Oh, McCartney. Hey, thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. That's one. BS was by, yes, every stream. See, you guys, you don't realize how much these streams inspire Earl. That's why she comes. Like she comes to listen to your chat and listen to your ideas. And sometimes those ideas get planted into her brain and off she goes. And I won't see her for days. So there's that. I have atheistic tenure. Yes. The whole idea, Josh, was I was writing my testimony of coming out of the faith, basically. You know, it's like, but I was realizing I didn't really, with the new revelation that I was autistic and hypersensitive and a few other things that now I look back at the whole religion faith thing and it makes a little bit more sense as to why I gravitated to religion. Like a lot of autistic people, Joshua, have some sort of addiction to cope with their autism. And I'm discovering that religion was my addiction. It filled that role. Like, and anybody who's studied religion knows that experiential religion, like Pentecostalism, it stimulates the same brains as drugs, you know, porn, everything else. So it's like, it's so, now that I've been away from that and gotten a better perspective on who I am, I think I can write that book with a little bit more understanding of where I was and where I am now. And I feel a little bit more comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable with it about a few years ago. And now I'm feeling much more comfortable doing that book. So, but there you go. Hard of all, but the funny thing is like a magic trick. Stand-up comedy represents the best. Look like they're not making it up. Yeah, but they're not. You know, they look like they're making it up on the fly, but they're not. They've written that stuff out. So 15 years ago, there you go. Deconverted it out. Yeah, we ought to have pins for this shit, Henry. Can we get pins made up? I don't know. I got to get my Merc going, and I can create some fangs pins out of the nonsense for 5 years, out of the nonsense for 10 years, 15, 20, 25. I don't know however high I can go. Atheist Anonymous, yes. Well, Theist Anonymous, actually, wouldn't it? Theism Anonymous. So, but yes, I've often thought about that, but it's been 10 years since I was a Christian this May. So like I dumped Christianity while I was still in the pulpit. I'm like, there's no way that this Jesus thing is true. Like it's made up. Like there's no evidence for it. So I'm going to keep moving. But I was in the pulpit at the time, and that's how I was making my living. And that's a horrible place to be when you don't believe in something, but you still have to preach it and talk about it. It's a horrible place to be. So yes. Yes. Yeah. It'd be Theist Anonymous. Theism Anonymous. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? A ribbon or a medal for each year. Chad's brilliant ideas, and either turn them into art or put them in writing. Yes. We've had that moment, but yes. Because some of you guys are amazing. Sometimes you give me great ideas. When anybody's here, I'm happy when anybody shows up and contributes to chat and gives me ideas. And a lot of the ideas that you have given me in chat have actually been incorporated in the book in some way too. So I know chapter 1 has a lot of cranky elder gods stuff because he kind of created a lot of the mythology. So there is a zero chance of relapsing? Yes. I often look at this, like when I began to think of religion as an addiction, it makes a hell of a lot more sense, Kyle. It really does. Like we all have our ways of coping, and some of them are more socially accepted than others. And religion, for some reason, is very socially accepted, as long as you're not like doing some weird shit. And so, yeah, but yes, I'm not going to relapse at this point. I spent way too much time in that, and now I'm going a different direction with my life. So, I, you know, yeah, it's hard to live. You know, when you're no longer an alcoholic, it's hard to live with another alcoholic. I don't mean to be that rude to the theist, but it feels like that. So, yes. Thanks, Josh. Like tokens or challenge tokens. Yes. I'm just saying, Joshua, it would be like, can you give me like a 5-year token? Like, that's what we could do. How about we do a coin with one side saying, you know, number of years theism free, and then we'll have Fangs's face on the other side. Or we'll do a collector's edition with various characters. Oh my gosh. Yes, nibblery. I think it wasn't it Evan that came up with he nibbles on your hearts and the nibblery. Like, and that was such a great idea. Like, oh, we got to keep that. So you guys have kind of the mythology of Fangs has been kind of in some ways created by all of you. Like you've added your favorite theological elements of what Fangs should have in it, and it's come out pretty well. So there's like that. Oh, yes, that was an Evanism. Yes, Evan did that. He did the nibble on your heart too. May Fangs nibble on your heart. Gosh, I think it was even him that when I talked about carrots being the most holy vegetable, and I think it was him that talked about taking only the tip off to make it more holy, to circumcise the carrot. No, but yes, the whole point of Fags is to illustrate the absurdity of religion, and it's done a very good job of it. And all of you have really helped with that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, Not really. Me and Earl are kind of keeping control of it because we're autistic control freaks. But I mean, it took me a bit. It took me like a day or two to really open up to the idea of, do I really want somebody else fucking with my writing? And Earl's like that too. She doesn't like it when people fuck with her writing either. And so we ended up we ended up basically, you know, I thought about it. I can't deny that this is better. She brings in a lot of elements that I don't even think of because she's a millennial, I'm Gen X. She has references that I don't possess that will appeal to a much younger audience than mine would. And so there's definitely, she even agreed, there's a because Fangs is a transitional deity as far as gender is concerned, because she doesn't matter. We've toyed with the idea that Fangs, because of his multiplication powers, could engage in self-sex and have a great time with it. So it the mental imagery has really opened up in the writing, and I absolutely love it. So, and probably one of the better decisions I've made is to let Earl in on this. She said, you drive, I'll just point out the tourist attractions, and it's kind of worked out. And I kind of like that analogy. So. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying 5 years theism free coin, and we can give out a 10 and 15. Hell, we'll do every year. But yes, Wolf, I would definitely do this. Like it sounds great. I wonder if I can find a company that'll do that for me. They probably want bulk because they want, like, scales of economies type stuff, and I don't know how well I would do that, but yeah, it's definitely something I will consider now. I've got a lot of Merc ideas. So like, I'm thinking that maybe we can sell like Fangs fur, like fur from Fangs himself, I mean, come on, it works for Apostle Paul sweat and everything else. So, but yes, yeah. Oh my goodness. But yes, we've had so much fun with Fangs. It's just, he's, he's so beautiful. He's so cute. Like, I mean, how can you resist this face? I mean, how can you do that? Yes, lucky rabbit's feet. Why not? It makes as much as sense as pieces of the cross, the blood of Christ. I mean, Earl, Christianity literally does the blood of Christ. Some churches every Sunday. Why? Why would this be? Why would this be a problem? I mean, Fangs just regenerates it and grows a new limb. I mean, we'll give him regeneration powers, and it's all good. He doesn't have a problem giving away pieces of himself. I mean, that Jesus guy gives away his body and blood. Why can't Fangs give up some feet? I mean, I'm sorry. It's another good way to illustrate the absurdity. I'm just saying. Definitely a WTF moment, though. Atheist dating sites, I don't think exist either. I've tried. Um, I've only, in all my dating for the last 4 years, I've only met one woman who was legitimately an atheist, and that was in Texas. And we hit it off and talked, but then she ended up dating some other guy and got together with him instead of me. So I'm just saying. There you go. I'm just saying. Like, I mean, if Jesus can do the body and blood of Jesus every Sunday, where, in Catholic churches, that wine turns into blood and the wafer turns into the actual body of Christ. Why can't we have Fangs out there with a knife chopping off his paws and then regrowing it instantly, but the new paw can be turned into a lucky rabbit's foot? Why not? Yes, the whole book is about Fangs versus Yahweh. Okay, and we're using common children's stories you would hear in Sunday school, and I'm throwing in a couple that you won't hear in Sunday school because they don't dare. Like Abraham sacrificing Isaac is in there. Never heard that one when I was growing up in Sunday school until I got to like age 11, 12, where they really talked about it. But when you're a kid, they don't want to do that. They want to do the Noah's Ark story with all the colorful giraffes and bullshit. And Adam and Eve, they do when you're a child, but you got to make sure the fig leaves are all in the right spot and the trees and branches are all in the right spot. And Eve's got to have really long hair that covers the front of her, kind of thing. Because we can't point out that everybody was like naked at the time. So, yeah, I'm just saying. I think this is a legitimate thing that we need to put into the book. I'm just saying. And then we could sell I'm thinking of merchandising after the book's published. Earl, what can we merchandise off the book? Like, as Mel Brooks says, it's all about the merchandising. Anybody who's watched Spaceballs knows exactly what I'm talking about. You got to have Spaceballs, the lunchbox, and Spaceballs this. And we got to have Fangs this, Fangs that, Fangs that. Fangs coffee cups, working on Fangs underwear on this one too to answer the other ones. My initial reaction to Abraham and Isaac, the story. I remember as a kid when I first heard it, because I grew up in the church. We didn't really talk about Abraham and Isaac as a story in depth until I got to like middle school. My church that I grew up in was very much about giving you the Bible in pieces as you could quote unquote handle it. Okay, that was kind of the philosophy of it. And I think they were following the Assemblies of God curriculum with that too. That's kind of their attitude. But when I first read the story as somebody who could read, I'm like, well, that's like, I hope my parents don't get inspired by Abraham and Isaac's story because I might end up dead. And the story also fit me better because I am an only child, and so Isaac was the one and only child of his two parents, and it's like, well, that's kind of messed up. As I got older, the biggest problem, of course, with the story is justifying it. Like, if God knows everything, why does he have to test Abraham? Like, he already knows what Abraham's heart is. So, yeah. So, yes, but it's just like, yeah, like, yeah, that's kind of what you have to do with Adam and Eve stories in church, especially with Eve. Eve, like Adam can like be there bare chested with abs and muscles and, have a single fig leaf in between his leg and nobody seems to bother. But if Eve shows her nipples, the game's over. So, along with other parts of her body. So yes, but yes, when I remember though with Abraham and Isaac, I spent a lot of time as a pastor justifying that story. Like I couldn't get the theology to fix it. So to me, it's just a morally reprehensible story now. Like, if we saw somebody about to sacrifice their child that way, we would grab them and put them in an institution. But somehow Abraham is a hero to many, many other people. So yeah, and I don't get it. He gave up Christianity for Lent. Yes, Spaceballs the flamethrowers. The kids will love that one. I remember that line. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Spaceballs the firecracker. Yes, fangs. Yes. My challenge coin a lucky rabbit foot on it. See what we did today, Earl. Chaos and mayhem. And I'm so proud of myself today. Yes, I remember that. And I remember how controversial it is. Imagine what doing Eve in what she actually would have been walking around wearing along with Adam in a Sunday school class. Like, and you don't, they never really give you the full effect of what that's like in any story. Like even the movies that do Genesis, like there's a movie that does like, I can't remember, Genesis 1 through like the end, like they do the book of Genesis. And the early part of the story, you got Adam and Eve hanging out for like 10 minutes of screen time. And every time the shot has to block the naughty bits. Okay. Like it's like so the actress in that movie had to be naked and doing the scenes, but they did it in such a way that they blocked everything. So that's just weird at how you could do a production like that and then still be freaked out about it. But yeah. Yes, they have belly buttons too, which is really hilarious. That's a lot of words. Amazing show. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see her. I liked her music. I still do. Very raw emotions put to music. It's really good. So, and see the video game come together by the beloved. I can only imagine. No, but I remember when I was a Christian, I was like, I don't know why. I actually proposed this once I was out of the Assemblies of God and I was being an independent pastor. I brought up the question to a group of why are we so freaked out about nudity, considering that Adam and Eve were sinless when they were naked? Wouldn't nudity be a sign of sinlessness? And isn't the whole clothing thing the product of sin? And that broke a few people's brains to think that way. Because it's like, if Jesus truly has paid it all and paid everything for our sins, shouldn't we all be running around naked? So I'm not thinking anything of it. Yes. Not really. See, Blossom, I've gained the reputation of if you're a theist drive by, my mods are going to be on that shit. Like I have quick trigger fingers around here, Blossom, and I think it's a good thing because I'm not against having a discussion with a theist online, but be respectful. Like, don't give me all the bullshit tropes. Like, you atheists don't have morality. You need to get with Jesus. It's like, yeah, it didn't go over well, Kyle. They didn't see it that way. Like, oh no, clothing is about modesty, and it's like, yeah, you're not really reading your Bible all that well. So, They put in a bunch of naked chicks video because that's one way to get it done. Music sucks. Literally hanging out. All Austin Powers, but not done in jest. Yes, yes, yes. But I made that point early in my independent career that you know that if we're following the idea that Jesus paid it all and redeemed us all, and we're all back in the Garden of Eden times, okay, where's the public nudity? Where's the And it's funny like that because there'll be inconsistent views like that. Like I actually had a question from a parishioner because his daughter was going to one of those horrible, horrible nations that allow you to go on to the beach and be topless and all that stuff, and for women. And he was like, is there a Bible verse I can give to her? Because she still says she's a Christian. And I'm like, I'll get back to you next week. And then I went through the whole Bible trying to find a verse about whether toplessness was evil. And yeah. So yeah, at that point, I'm like, I don't have anything to give you. In fact, there are several places in the Bible that talk about female mammary glands in a very positive light. So, like, they are eminently praised in the Bible on a couple occasions. So, I said, sorry, I don't got nothing to give you. I don't have anything. The collab with Carly recently coming around again, and yeah, I can see that. I mean, when she became a mom, I noticed that she did lean into that pretty hard. So, but yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah. Oh my goodness. But yes. All right. I got about 5-10 minutes here. Let's see. Let's bring out some of Earl's latest. I love this one, and I haven't seen Azzo tonight. I have this prepped up for him every time. I love this one. This is funny. Nothing like having Azzo teddy bear, the hellhound, and Fangs in the same photograph. I don't know what the party was about, and I don't want to. I don't want to know. Yes, that's where you'll see female breasts talked about in a very positive light. Like Solomon, apparently was a boob guy, so he was definitely a boob guy because he talks about him a lot. His lovers' breasts are definitely a frequent topic of conversation, which makes you wonder because according to a lot of Christians, they weren't married yet. So how did he know? So whoever it was, Fangs wasn't thrilled about it. Fangs, the Hellhound and Azzo had a good time, but Fangs wasn't impressed. Is that what you're saying? So, yes, but yeah, Yahweh pulling a bunny out of a hat. Oh, is that what happened? Yeah, I'm sure Fangs didn't want to deal with that. Like he has enough of Yahweh shit. My favorite scene in writing so far is when Yahweh gets pissed at Fangs for the first time and starts firing lightning bolts. That's a scene in the book, just for those of you, for a little teaser. And Fangs doesn't get touched because he's too fast. So Fangs with the magic show, well, I can see where that would be a downer. Fangs isn't really like he is the god of magicians, so patron saint, of Penn and Teller and company. So okay. Yeah, it's really incompatible. Like biblical culture, like I mean, clothing is always an interesting topic of discussion and culture because for a long time, like in the Roman Empire, one of the things that we don't really get is less a master wanted to clothe his slaves. He often didn't, like, except in the winter. sometimes when it got cold, but it's like the idea that of slaves running around naked all the time just doesn't appeal to our culture because it doesn't make it. And most ancient cultures were that way. Clothing was a sign of status. So yeah, it's like that's why the whole fashion industry got started. But yeah, Fangs is a magic show. Okay, now I feel bad for Fangs. I got to figure out a way to write a revenge story about this. I don't know what to do there. Yeah, contemporary, modern, it's all good. Like the culture in the Bible is very incompatible. Like if if Christian women saw how biblical culture actually treated women, they would be appalled. They would be absolutely mad. So, Joel Walsh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got to have a revenge story now, Earl. Because if Yahweh's doing that shit to Fangs is not going to like it. So, and it was probably Asho's idea to bite Yahweh in the first place. So, I'm going to give him shit for that. Oh my goodness. I'm still wrapping my heads around this, Earl. Songs. Yes, it is hilarious. But yeah, I've well, because I know where it comes from. Like, you had Sir Mix-a-Lot, and then Joe Walsh had to do his, and yeah, it's a hilarious thing. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing about religion and government and society. They all seem to have these rules that all crop up at the same time, and I really feel they're meant to control people. Um, and unfortunately, some people want to be controlled. So, yeah, well, you have to go outside the camp, honey. You're unclean. Yeah, like that would not fly today. I don't care how Christian women are. There's a lot of Christian women in the United States who would actually balk at that. They would be like, "What?" you know, it doesn't do it any favor. The biggest problem I have with religion, Kyle, is we're trying to preserve a culture and a morality that's a couple of thousand years old, and yet modern sensibilities keep reinterpreting that in a different light. Like, if you actually followed the Bible, you would be considered evil in most of the world. There's a few places where I would say that some of that stuff is still practiced, but like in the Western world, if you suddenly said slaves were good, or women should stay home, make babies, preferably man child, if you said all those things and did all those things, most of Western society would rebel against it, which is why they've reinterpreted it all. Like this whole idea of like women are in a better mental and positional state. Like Charlie Kirk used to make that argument all the time that women aren't happy, and the reason they're not happy is not fulfilling their God-given role of being submitted to a man and all that shit. And so, yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm well aware that there are still some cultures that do this. Like they do it. It's part of their culture. You have to travel a bit, folks. This ideology is still very much in force in much of the Middle East. So yeah, so it's like it's there. Okay, it's there, and this is why I'm an anti-theist. People say, "Well, you seem like a really nice guy, and you really are trying to reach out to theists." But it's like, and I try to be a compassionate anti-theist, but they make it hard sometimes. But I don't understand the mentality that wants to keep us in the early Iron Age from a moral standpoint. We've moved on. So, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Yeah, but somebody burned their house down. So, but yeah, there's, and I'm wait. That story hasn't appeared on Fox News, I'm sure, but I'm totally over the fact that most of the media sources in the United States aren't objective. I don't think that there's any of them. Was it Shapiro? He got his house burned. Again, got his house attacked. Yeah, I mean, yay. I don't advocate for violence against anybody, so I don't think that's the way you ultimately win culture wars. Culture wars. There's an old line from Henry V. When cruelty and levity play for a kingdom, the gentlest gamester is the surest winner. And I kind of take that at heart in politics. Like, people who are reasonable, who treat everybody with respect, are probably going to win the long game. And so, yeah, I'm, if that's happened to Shapiro, I feel bad for what happened to him. I think the guy's a complete idiot when it comes to his viewpoints, but there's that. I don't know. Three little piggies. So, okay. Ron in there. Oh, the people who want to live in the dark ages see it as an advantage to them. Like, the dark ages are very authoritarian. Come on, feudalistic systems are very authoritarian. Like, Trump's pretty authoritarian, but he doesn't hold a candle to some of the kings of the past in Europe, for instance. Some of my European fans will testify. So, who know their history. But yeah, that authoritarianism is very good for the people who submit to the authority. If you're a rebel or an outsider, it's not so good for you. Democracies and more open societies are better for everybody, because then everybody has a chance, at least a chance of opportunity. So it's not Ben Shapiro, probably not. Shapiro the congressman. Okay, yes, there's another Shapiro. I forgot about that. But yes, might it be a case of mistaken identity? I don't know. But yes, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I have long given up making any analysis about an attack or a political assassination. I wait a week, because until you get some facts about the perpetrator, you don't really know what the motivations are, and so you can't assume. Certainly can't assume these days. I hope after some of the more recent stuff, people have learned that lesson. Shut your mouth until you know more. I'm sure some politicians won't follow that advice. It's Josh. Okay. All right. Josh, the congressman. So, all right. Yeah. He's a Democrat congressman. I guess we'll see. I mean, it could be anybody. Like, I'm sure if it turns out to be a right winger, Fox News will bury it before the day is out, and move on to something else. Probably the liberal outlets will continue to do it, but I've long given up objective news in my country a long time ago. So, was the governor a PA? Okay, not a congressman. Government of PA. Okay, I got to research this, because I saw it and then I didn't have a chance to really look at it. So, but yeah, I'm going to hold off on my analysis and putting blame on anybody yet. I've learned my lesson over the last 10 years. So it only took me 10 years to figure it out, but yes. Oh. Had a house attacked and burned. Okay. Somebody's very mad at the governor in Pennsylvania. See, and I don't. The thing about these politically laden stories, the politics always come in. Sometimes it's not even political. Like there's some personal attacks that have happened to certain people, and it's like, didn't have anything to do with their politics. They'd love to have a convo with a gypsy. I actually got to hang out with the Roma in Romania, so I can tell you how that goes. The Romanians, though, they get very mad at you when you call them all gypsies. Oh, we are Romanian. Those are Roma. They get all upset about it. And so I know I was there. But the gypsies are very interesting people. They have a bad rap, but like most people groups, it's the fringe of their group that are getting the bad rap. So yeah, I remember talking to the gypsies. Probably the most disturbing thing about it, we're talking about old culture, is how the gypsies still, like, they have arranged marriages still, like, and you'll see little girls with, like, I think it's red ribbons in their hair, which means they're betrothed and they're 12, 11 years old. You know, they're going to get married in the next couple of years. Like, there's, in some of those Eastern European countries, the marriage age is really low. So it's interesting because they'll get married at 14 and have kids by 15, and that's just kind of the way it is. So, but yes, so yeah, the gypsies are an interesting study in prejudice. So, setting fire. Oh, they got the guy's name. They've arrested him. Oh, it's a Palestinian thing. Outstanding. That just adds some more fuel to the fire. Let's do that. Hey, it's Asho. Yeah, I got your birthday celebration picture up there. It's farmer's busy season. Farmer's busy season. Okay, so you're busy. I didn't know you were a farmer. There we go. There you go. Sweden gypsies actually call themselves gypsies. We have different flavors of gypsy here, though. Finnish, Swedish that have been here 500 years. Swedish gypsies that came here in the late 17th. Okay, yeah, because they are very migratory. I did note that, but you want to talk about old cultures and old traditions. The gypsies have them. They definitely do. But I'm like, we were touring a Roma school, and one of the girls with us asked about the ribbons in one of the girls' hair. Like, she had two, like, ponytails all dialed up, and she had red ribbons in her hair. And they were very colorful and vibrant. She's like, "What's up with the red ribbons?" And our guide basically told that means she's betrothed to somebody. Like, and I was the one who asked, "Well, how old is she?" "Oh, I think she's 11." So I'm like, okay. Oh, Thomas Shelby was a favorite gypsy. Oh, you have that in your stock. Okay, there you go. See, but when I was dealing with them, I was like, oh my god. Like, it was, my daughter was with me because we were doing a mission trip still, and I was still a believer at the time, and even I was like going, okay, all righty then. So, but yes. Oh, he was an Irish traveler. Okay, there you go. Yes, problematic. Problematic is a word. But yes, I was like, well, when are they going to get married? When is she going to get married? Oh, she's going to have to turn 14, I think, by law. And I'm like, really? Who's she marrying? Well, how old's the guy? And she said, oh, the guy's only 13. So she'll be 14. She was going to be 14 and he was going to be 16, and they were going to get married. So, and that was all an arrangement by their families. So, go arrange marriages, I guess. Solves a lot of decision-making processes, doesn't it? People don't really decide for you. Oh my goodness. But yes, it's good to see you though, Asho. I've been posting this picture showing up, hoping you would show up, because you're one of my, I strain to say it because it's around your birthday, but you're one of my favorite people on the internet. So, and so there's that. But there's your birthday photo for you. looking well as ever, although Fangs isn't happy. He doesn't like it when Yahweh pulls him out of a hat. So, yeah. Yes. Yes. I know what you're saying, man. Because there are other arranged marriages where the 14-year-old girl is going off to marry somebody a couple decades older at least. And yes. Oh, you're going to curtsy today? Okay. All righty then. All right. Well, folks, I've been on for an hour and a half, and I need to get something to eat, and I need to get ready for work and all that jazz. And, you know, the duties of a Walmart overnight modder never end because we're doing toys to get ready for Christmas. Yes, I know it's only early October, but that's what we're doing. And so I've got to get ready for that. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I'm glad Asshole finally showed up. Yeah, you can use the dementia card. I'm good with that. But thanks for everybody for showing up. Thank you. Let's see, who do I have to thank for financial support? We had Fred, who became a senator. So, Asshole, you're going to have to now refer to Fred Harvey as Senator Fred. So he's a senator. I had to make note that Joe Bashade a few days ago became my one and only counsel. So there you go. That. And then Joshua Geis, thank you for both of your donations tonight. Appreciate all of that. But we didn't quite meet the goal, so I'm still hatless, but I got to go. So thanks, everybody. As always, may fangs nibble on your hearts. May he bless your vegetables by removing religious corruption. Look for the 2 little holes on all your vegetables to make sure your vegetables have been removed of religious corruption by fangs. Make sure you leave out a carrot offering and make sure you circumcise it, taking only the tip off of it. So thanks you for all of that. Nom nom and all the nibblery that you can handle. I appreciate all of you. As always, folks, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So you want to take all your time, your money, your opportunities, and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by. And we'll catch you next time.
It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation.